After David's first encounter with Sterling, a new sense of power and excitement took over him. The intimacy they shared was something he had always dreamed of, but experiencing it with Sterling, the bold, confident senior who had been so eager to please him, was different. He felt a rush that coursed through his vein and it sparked something inside him. It was as if the walls between teacher and student was dissolved, and David no longer felt the weight of responsibility that initially held him back. In the days that followed, his attitude changed. The charm he used to warm his students was no longer just for casual conversations. David began to see each girl as a challenge, a conquest to add to his growing list. What had started with turning was now a tempting game, a game he intended to play by his own rules. Soon, he began approaching other senior students, offering extra lessons, help with assignments, or just casual chat after class. His words were carefully chosen, smooth and confident, making sure to establish a bond of trust before he hinted at something more. Some of the girls, like Miriam, were more reserved, but David knew how to break down their walls. He would flatter them relentlessly, making them feel seen and special in a way that none of their peers ever had. Slowly, his room became a haven for these girls. Some would bring snacks, some would bring food, others would offer to clean, and a few would even confide in him about their deepest desires. The next day, during one of his lessons, David was teaching a complex mathematics topic that involved attraction forces, something Miriam had been struggling to understand. Miriam, a quiet senior known for her shy smile and innocent air, hesitated but raised her hand. Sir, I'm having trouble understanding these concepts. Can you please explain it to me again? She asked, her voice soft but filled with genuine curiosity. David smiled, his eyes twinkling with amusement. Of course, Miriam, he said smoothly. This is a tricky one, but I think I can help you out. Why don't you meet me after school? We can go over it in more detail, just the two of us. Miriam nodded, feeling a mix of nerves and hope. She had always admired David's confidence and had heard the whispers among her peers about how he had helped others with their studies. She was eager to get a better grade, and she trusted him. After all, he was the best teacher in the school. When the school finally ended, Miriam made her way to David's room. As she knocked on the door, he opened it with a warm, inviting smile. Miriam, come in. I've been waiting for you, David said, guiding her to the desk where a few scattered books and paper lay, making it seem like they were about to dive into something academic. Miriam sat down, ready to tackle her studies, but David was already leaning over her, his breath warm against her neck as he pointed to the equations on the page. See, Miriam, David began, his voice low and smooth. The concept here is about attraction. You know, the same kind of attraction we feel between people. How things pull towards one another. It's not just physics, it's all around us. Woman's attraction, too, follows a similar pattern. Miriam shifted in her seat, her heart racing slightly. She had never really thought about attraction in those terms. She tried to focus on the math, but his words had a strange way of making her feel nervous. David continued, his hand brushing over the paper, his fingers grazing her slightly. Miriam froze for a second, but he gave her a reassuring smile. Don't worry, Miriam. You will be fine, he said, his voice oozing with charm, but his touch lingered, his hand gently resting on her arms. The forces of attraction are powerful. Miriam, David whispered, you can feel it between us, can't you? Miriam looked up at him, confused and overwhelmed by the strange feelings stirring inside her. She tried to pull away, but David was already moving closer. It's natural, he continued softly. Attraction is just something that happens, and I can help you understand it better. Before she could respond, he reached out again. Miriam's breath edged in surprise. She pulled back slightly, but David gently placed his hand on her shoulder. Miriam, he said softly, I know this is a lot to take in, but I promise, if you just trust me, I will help you pass your exams. You will get the grades you deserve. These words had a strange effect on her. Miriam had always worked hard, and the thought of doing well in her final exams, and having David's approval was something she deeply wanted. The idea of pleasing him, of earning his favor, made her heart race, and without too much hesitation, Miriam gave in. Afterwards, David looked at her with a mixture of tenderness and dominance. Don't tell anyone, Miriam. This is between us. No one needs to know what we have. You are special to me, and I will make sure you have everything you need. Your grades will be perfect, I promise. Miriam, her emotions swelling, nodded quietly. She felt a rush of excitement mixed with guilt, unsure of what had just happened. David's words wrapped around her like a comforting blanket, promising her not just good grades, but something more, something she hadn't even known she was looking for. And so, David kept having his way. His audacity didn't stop at the confines of the school. As his exploits grew bolder, so did his tactics. He realized that luring girls to his room at the school lodge was becoming too risky. Too many eyes, too many whispers, so he devised a more discreet plan. A plan that involved booking hotel rooms near the school. The hotels were modest, located just far enough from the school to avoid suspicion, but close enough for the girls to sneak away conveniently. David would meticulously plan each meeting, ensuring the time and location suited the girls' schedule. His promises were always enticing: extra lessons, help with upcoming exams, or even just a safe space to relax and talk away the pressure of the school. For the girls, the allure was hard to resist. David had mastered the art of persuasion, using his smooth tongue and charming demeanor to paint himself as someone who genuinely cared for their well-being. Most of the girls, though young and impressionable, were not entirely naive. They understood his intentions, but convinced themselves it was harmless fun. After all, wasn't Corper David the most handsome and charismatic young teacher in the school? To keep their secret meetings hidden, the girls crafted elaborated lies for their parents. Some told their mothers they were going to study with friends, while others claimed they were meeting up with classmates for a harmless outing. The lies were convincing enough, and their unsuspecting parents allowed them the freedom they craved. Dressed in casual clothes and carrying backpacks stuffed with books as props, the girls would slip out of their homes with giddy excitement, their hearts racing at the thought of meeting David. When they arrived at the hotel, David would be waiting for them, his confident smile and sweet words making them feel like the center of his universe. He would order snacks or drinks, sometimes pretending to start with lessons to ease their nerves. But as the minutes ticked by, the book would be forgotten, and David's true intention would become clear. These secret affairs soon became a routine for him. David took great care to ensure the meetings didn't overlap or arouse suspicion. He kept a mental list of the girls he was involved with and made sure each one of them felt unique, as though she held a special place in his heart. But beneath the surface, cracks were beginning to show, and while he thought he was in control, David failed to realize that his actions were leaving behind a dangerous trail. One fateful day, Tenny was in the kitchen helping her mother prepare dinner. The aroma of spices and seasoning oil filled the air, but suddenly, Tenny felt dizzy. She dropped the spoon she was holding and bolted out for the bathroom. Bent over the sink, she vomited violently, her hands trembling. "Jesus, what is wrong with you?" her mother, Madame Ngozi, cried as she rushed into the bathroom. She placed a hand on Tenny's forehead and noticed her skin was hot. "You are burning up. What is wrong with you? We are going to the hospital now." At the hospital, Madame Ngozi waited anxiously as the doctor ran tests on her daughter. When the doctor finally came out, his face was grave. "Madam, please, I would like to speak with your daughter privately," he said. "No, doctor," she replied firmly. "She is my daughter. I have the right to know her medical condition." "Okay, madam, if you insist," the doctor said, turning to Tenny. "Young lady, when last did you see your period?" 2 months ago," Tenny said softly. Her mother's eyes widened in shock. "Tenny, 2 months ago?" she screamed. "Madam," the doctor said quietly, "from the result I have here, it shows that your daughter is pregnant." The word hit like thunderbolts. Madam Ngozi staggered back, gripping the wall for support. She turned to Tenny, tears streaming down her face. Pregnant? How could you? Who is responsible for this? Through sob, Tenny finally whispered, "It's Copper David." Ngozi's pain turned instantly to fury. "That boy took advantage of your innocence. He will hear from me." On the other hand, Miriam, known for her reserved nature, had been keeping her symptoms to herself. One afternoon, while fetching water at the backyard, she suddenly doubled over and began vomiting. Her younger sister, startled, ran into the house shouting, "Papa, Papa, Miriam is sick." Their father, Mr. Aziz, rushed outside to find Miriam weak and pale. He helped her into the car and drove straight to the hospital. There, the news hit him like a thunderbolt. Miriam was also pregnant. "Who?" Mr. Aziz demanded angrily. "Who did this to you?" Through tears, Miriam admitted, "It was Copper David." Mr. Aziz's face darkened. "That boy will regret this," he thundered. Soon, the other girls began experiencing similar symptoms. One by one, their pregnancies were confirmed, and all fingers pointed at Copper David. In one day, 4 angry parents stormed into the school, furious and demanding answers. "How could this happen?" They yelled at the principal, Mrs. Obele. "What kind of school are you running?" Mrs. Obele, visibly shaking, immediately summoned David to her office. When the girls confirmed him as the culprit, she called his parents and informed them of the situation. Chief Johnson, David's father, arrived with his wife, Madam Ngozi. Upon hearing the accusation, Chief Johnson tried to bribe the furious parents. "Please, let's settle this amicably," he pleaded. "I will compensate everyone." But Miriam's father, a top politician, refused. "You think this is about money?" he shouted. "I have already reported this to the NYSC head office." Immediately, David's service was terminated. He was arrested and charged to court. During the trial, the evidence against him was overwhelming. The judge declared him guilty and sentenced him to several years in prison. In prison, David had plenty of time to reflect on his action. He realized the depth of the harm he had caused and resolved to turn his life around. Back at home, the scandal took a heavy toll on his family. Chief Johnson, unable to bear the disgrace, fell seriously ill. His blood pressure skyrocketed, and despite medical care, he passed away. Madam Ngozi was inconsolable. "I warned you," she often cried. "I begged you to change, but you wouldn't listen." She regretted not being more strict with him during his childhood. Despite the scandal, the school allowed the girls to continue their education after giving birth. Their parents took care of the babies, enabling them to focus on their studies. They worked hard to rebuild their lives, determined not to let the past define them. 4 years later, David was released from prison. He returned home to find his father gone. The loss hit him hard, but he strengthened his resolve to live a better life. He began working to become a changed man, using his experience to mentor young boys about the dangers of irresponsibility and abuse of power. David learned that abusing trust and authority leads only to destruction, and it's never too late to seek redemption. Madam Ngozi understood the importance of consistent parenting and firm guidance. The girls learned resilience and the importance of making better choices in the future. Their parents learned the value of vigilance in protecting their children, and the school learned the need for stricter oversight and accountability. This story serves as a cautionary tale about the consequences of poor choices, the importance of discipline, vigilance, and second chances. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. Don't forget to like, share, and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you think. Thanks for watching. See you in my next stories. Bye.